Representative Sherwood.
Here.
Representative Smith.
Here.
Senator Driscoll.
Here.
Senator Garou.
Here.
Senator Larson.
Excused.
Senator Smith.
Here.
Co-Chairman Salazar.
Here.
Chairman Bear.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Representative Harrelson, would you please lead us in a word of prayer?
God, we come today and we thank you for the opportunity that we have to live in such a great nation. Over the last 24 hours, as we've just seen everything that's taken place in this nation, God, we know that you still work in the affairs of man. And we thank you for that. God, I pray that we would never think ourselves too high, understanding our limitations and our weaknesses and understanding your greatness. God, as we make decisions for the financial bearings and direction of this state, God, let us do that with humility. God, let us be wise as we do this, and let us be about your business as we do this. God, I thank you for this great state. I thank you for this great nation and the fact that we truly get to live in an unprecedented time. We pray blessings over the deliberations, the conversations, and I pray that as we walk through this, we just truly have wisdom. Pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Senator Garou, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. We have a few witnesses here, and we're going to get into that department shortly. We'll just continue with where we left off yesterday, and as soon as we get to that department, we'll have them come up and give their testimony. So, Mr. Richards, if you would continue in Department 006, where we left off yesterday.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. You are now on page 34, Unit 3055, Trades Management, and this exception request does include a request for 2 additional full-time employees.
Any discussion? Any motions? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move to reduce the amount $815,794 and 2 FTE.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Smith. Any discussion?
Question?
Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you,
Garou.
Mr. Chairman. Don, that 815,000 is for 2 trades employees, and there's something else there I'm missing?
Mr. Chairman, you're correct. It is 2 trades employees. There is a small amount of what I would describe as office equipment and supplies to support those FTEs, and that is included in the 200 series for $185,000.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Garou, follow-up?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Mr. Hibbert.
Chairman, Kevin Hibbert, the Director of the State Budget Department. If I may, there's an opportunity for educational conversation in how all of this works in the state of Wyoming.
Proceed.
Either on this one or the next one, but they both apply, and even on the previous one. On the page 31, the second to last paragraph, it says the expenditures incurred will be subject to the statewide cost allocation. I want to frame that up for you. The statewide cost allocation returns money to the general fund. This general fund asks is in A&I, they get general funds, they spend it. It's simpler that way. There's no transactions back and forth. But what happens is we recover those costs through the statewide cost allocation for all those people that are federal related, particularly. That's a heavy target for us. So we recover those costs, and also special revenue agencies if you have a fee or a service that we have. So while this looks like a general fund ask, it eventually will be subject to the statewide cost allocation. If you'll bear with me and turn to page 20, or excuse me, agency 20,
35.
page 3. You'll see in column 1, you move down there, object series, and you'll see space rental. That object series and DEQ for space rental is $895,411. DEQ for the space that we bought this year was paying through their lease, particularly the next utilities. They were paying for that already through a lease. When we purchased it, it became state property. So we will be moving the money from the 500 series up to the 300 series for statewide cost allocation. So when you get this one and the next one, understand that those statewide cost recoverables, DEQ is heavy in federal funds, for example. The expected agencies that are moving into Riverton are heavily federally funded. And when we get to the previous one as well. So I just want to let you know that the math isn't here, but we are right now at the State Budget Department working on the 27-28 cost allocation, and I've had conversations with ANI and DEQ about the movement of funds in this fashion. So I just want to take a little time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Hibbert, I have a question for you. When we do this cost analysis, or this preparation for 27-28 budget, is there a cost analysis or a comparison whether we're going to lease space or whether we're going to purchase it?
Mr. Chairman, absolutely. Let me just give you a brief glimpse at that. If you look on page 3 again, you'll see that the DEQ has 500 series, which is space rental. What you will see is in the Chapter 17, a comment in the Chapter 17 report. When we make that movement, we'll explain it to you. We are moving, let's say, $100,000 from 500 series to the 300 series. So that will be described in exactly that fashion. And you'll see the fact that in this case, the Department of Environmental Quality currently has $5.1 million subject to statewide cost allocation for their funds, which is a significant amount of money, which means something to us when we're talking about these particular section requests.
Thank you. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my apologies to Senator Garou. It looks like the assessments line 253 is a request for contract services in Riverton.
Right.
Follow-up?
Yes, please. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so I guess my point is, I understand about the cutting of the two trades employees, and I think, matter of fact, I've spoken with the folks at ANI, and they're kind of expecting it. And they feel that they can work with that. But there was more in that line than the two employees, and it was that money for that. I was trying to jog my own memory about, that was the money for Riverton. The backstory here is that the legislature prompted the Riverton building by, and I don't know if it's against their will, but say they weren't wild about the idea, but we were wild about moving stuff into Riverton. The other one, and we've been going around there with this with ANI for a while, leases that were not great and stuff, and they've really taken it to heart. And the building where DEQ is now actually is a really good deal. And that's a new phenomenon for them. They paid a good price and got a good deal on it. So what I was hoping to do is, if we want to cut those employees and cut out the ancillary costs. I'm sure we can figure that. But the rest of that 815 is critical to get that Riverton office building open. But I've been told if we don't do that, we may not get it open. And if that's what the committee wants to do, that's fine. I just want to make sure they know they have that information.
Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That then begs the question of what else is being done in Riverton at this facility.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Senator.
Representative, to my knowledge, what they're doing now is just rehabbing that building to get it so it can be, start to get housed and used for this role of government to play in there. So it's just rehabbing the building. And they can contract it out, the work they feel.
Would you be amenable to a friendly amendment? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm trying to consider this because my fundamental belief is we don't want to grow government. I think we've mentioned that in here. Now we're building another facility, or we purchased another facility, so we got to find some people to fill it and do something with it. I guess I would certainly invite more information. Thank you.
Mr. Hibbert.
Mr. Chairman, I did my best this morning to explain the statewide cost allocation, but I'll give another example. Thyre Thompson, we did the very same thing. There was facilities scattered around Casper that the state of Wyoming either owned or leased. We rolled all those facilities into the Thyre Thompson. We cost allocated and we saved money for the state of Wyoming. The same thing is happening in Riverton, where we have the scattered facilities that we lease, that eventually those leases will be closed. But under those leases, somebody's cleaning that office space. This is what we're attempting to do here, is we're saying now that we're going into a state-operated facility, we would like to move the cost from the lease budget to the state A&I's budget and have employees do that cleaning. If you have a preference, you could say, well, A&I, we don't want to give you the AWACS right now, but we'll give you contract money. We'll give you 900 series dollars to do the cleaning. I think that's what Senator Grew was pointing out.
Further discussion? Is there a friendly amendment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And this is conceptual. If we could just, out of that 815, remove the two employees, the two trade employees, and the ancillary costs that go with that, and leave the remaining portion so they can get finished.
Representative Pendergraft, is that a friendly amendment?
That is friendly, thank you.
Seconded by Co-Chair Salazar. Okay, any further discussion on the amendment to the amendment? We're voting on the amendment to separate out the personnel and keep the funds that are not personnel related in this section. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. That carries. Now we're back on the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? All those in favor say aye.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
Sorry, Mr.
Representative
Chairman.
Harrelson, go ahead.
Can we just get, what is that amendment shift to cost-wise? Do we have that idea? I mean, I'm doing a little bit, pretty much just the 156, 728 minus, or plus the 39, 941, remove those two, correct? And then the health benefits, maybe, so if you could just give me those numbers, that'd be awesome.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Richards.
Representative Harrelson, through the chair, on page 33 is probably the best way to look at this. The amounts associated with the personnel at the top 100 series is $226,490. Plus, it seems to us that the permanently assigned vehicle would no longer be necessary in the amount of $4,875, and the IT hardware, meaning the laptop or other materials for the employee, of $5,136. So the total reduction pursuant to Representative Pendergraft's motion with a friendly amendment by Senator Guru would be a reduction of $236,501 and 2 FTE.
Follow up? Okay, any further discussion on the amendment? Senator Gru.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so you know, there are some tenants in the building and they're working through it, but right now, the Department of Family Services, Department of Health and WIC office, Department of Agriculture, and YDOT Driver Services are all moving into that building. And so the bottom line is facilities that they're currently renting now, that rent will go away. And so in the end of the day, it will, the feeling is that it will catch up and pay for itself in just the rent savings in some of the leases that we have. And frankly, some of the leases we had there were some of the ones that were a little tough, not if you're the owner, but if you're the state. So we're trying to get there.
Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. You say at the end of the day, how long is that day? Are we talking 6 months, 2 years? Just a guess.
Mr. Chairman, I will,
Senator.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, I will work on endeavoring to find that out for you by hopefully the end of this meeting.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Ms. Chasson, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Chairman, roll call vote for Agency 006, Unit 3055 as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith. Aye. Representative Allman.
Aye.
Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Harrelson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, a total of 12 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Chasten. Mr. Richards, please continue.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 37, Unit 3056, Utilities.
Governor's rec has been moved. Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Ms. Chasten, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Chairman, roll call vote for Agency 006, Unit 3056. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Garou. Aye. Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith. Aye. Representative Alaman. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Harrelson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 5 ayes, or 12 ayes.
Thank you. Ms. Chasten. Mr. Richards, please continue.
Mr. Chairman, that closes Agency 006, Department of Administration and Information.
Thank you. And is there any further discussion on this agency before we move on? Thank you very much. Ms. Chasten, please take the roll for the agency.
Mr. Chairman, roll call vote for Agency 006 as amended. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Garou. Aye. Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith. Aye. Representative Alaman. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Harrelson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 12 ayes on Agency 006.
Thank you, Ms. Chasten. And let's go on to the next agency. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, the next agency for your consideration is the Department of Revenue, Agency 11. Your first unit and only unit in this agency appears on page 15, Unit 0303, Property Tax Refund Program.
Continue.
Mr. Chairman, this is a request for $10.575 million for the second year of the Property Tax Refund Program. This is the program, you'll recall, which is asset and income limited, and for which individuals must apply. And the,
Mr. Richards, are we on 0303, and does that include the 75,000 for contractual services, property tax refund program? Or are you putting them together?
yes, Mr. Chairman, typically the agency or the committee will vote on page 15, and both the administrative costs of 75,000 as well as the tax exemption cost of 10.5 million are included.
So our grand total is 10,575,000. Okay, sorry, you probably said that, I missed it. I appreciate that clarity. All right, any discussion on this? Representative Pendergraft.
Move the governor's rec.
Governor's rec has been moved. Do I have a second? Seconded by Senator Garou. Any discussion on the amendment, on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. I believe that finishes the department at the same time, so we'll do one roll call vote, and this will be for the department. Any objections? No objections. Ms. Chasten, please take the roll.
Mr. Chairman, roll call vote for Agency 011, Unit 0303, and for the agency to close is Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Garou. Aye. Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith. Aye. Representative Alaman. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Harrelson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 12 ayes.
Thank you, Ms. Chasten. Mr. Richards, if you would take us to the next department.
Mr. Chairman, the next agency for your consideration is Agency 15, the Attorney General's Office. The first and only request appears on page 17, Unit 0101. There is a adjustment as a result of the committee testimony. There is an error in terms of a double count for the EGI insurance, and this request can be reduced by $16,792, $16,792.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Can you give us a new grand total that we'll be voting on?
Mr. Chairman, I have 509,785.
509,785. Thank you, Mr. Richards. And yes, Mr. Co-Chair, we'll take a 5-minute recess. We are reconvening now. All right, we have a new section on the table. It's been described. Is there any discussion about this section? Any motions?
Mr. Chairman?
Representative Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Smith, sorry, Representative Smith.
Thank you. I would make a motion to zero out the dollar amount and zero out the employees for the AG's office.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there any second on the motion? Second by Representative Haroldson. Any discussion about the motion? All right, we're voting on a motion to remove these two positions and funding for them in the AG's office. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Motion carries. I believe that's the end of the agency, so Ms. Chasten, would you take the roll call? And this will be for the change and the agency to close.
Senator Driscoll.
Aye.
Senator Garou.
Aye.
Senator Larson. Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Almond. Representative Angelos. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar. And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 12 ayes on the roll call vote for agency 1015, unit 0101, and to close.
Thank you, Ms. Chasten. Mr. Richards, the next agency, please.
Mr. Chairman, the next agency for your consideration is the Department of Environmental Quality, Agency 020, Unit 0701, page 13. This relates to the uranium recovery program. This is for salary enhancements of existing employees. And I believe Director Parfit is here potentially on another issue once you finish this.
Director Parfit, would you please come forward? Thanks. Do you have anything about this particular budget request you'd like to share with the committee before we get on to another issue?
Mr. Chairman, yes, maybe just go over some highlights of the request for the program.
Please.
We started the uranium recovery program back in 2018. We became an agreement state working with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to do the licensing for uranium mining and milling. So very narrow component of what the Nuclear Regulatory Commission does. We have 6 full-time employees within the program, and it's funded 100% through fees from the licensed facilities. What this request is for is we've had difficulty with maintaining a retention of those positions. The average time that those positions have been filled is, for each of them, has been 2 years. And so in the 6 years we've had the program, each of these positions has had 3 individuals in there. And so that becomes difficult for maintaining consistency and program agreement state status. We've had conversations with the uranium mining industry. They have asked us to come forward with this request and support the request. Ordinarily, during the supplemental, we would not have brought anything forward, but because of the nature of the request and the fact that it's 100% fee-based and industry was requesting it, we thought it was appropriate to bring it forward during the supplemental session. So that's a quick overview, and I'll stand for any questions.
Okay. Any questions for the director in regards to the uranium program? Okay, none on that, and we're going to vote on that in a moment. But before we do, I've asked you here because of a concern of some constituencies, and this has to do with the Title V program. And so I'd like to just ask you a few questions, if you could. If you could give us, first of all, a brief overview of the program, what it does, what it's for, how the state is involved versus the EPA.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the Title V air quality program is for your major emitters. And so we have 114 facilities that are subject to Title V permitting. and the fees that go along with that. Now, under the Clean Air Act, it's, states are required to assess a fee to implement the Title V program. You can't use general funds or other funds to fund the Title V program. So, and we've had that conversation. So if you had $1 million sitting there in general funds, you couldn't use that to, for the staffing for the program. It would have to be through the fee. Now, we've had the lowest Title V fee for probably 12, 13 years. We went from $34.50 a ton of emissions to I think it's $47.50 per ton. We had changed that last year and had this conversation with both the Minerals Committee and the Joint Appropriations Committee, more as a notification. The element that's at play here is that there is a permit fee determination, what's called the structure. And the way I look at it, it's the formula that we use to determine what's the appropriate and necessary fee that we need to be assessing the operators. It became apparent to us because the emissions have declined, and this is one of the perverse things about the Clean Air Act, is that the more you reduce the pollutants, the higher the fee goes. Because the fewer emissions you have, the less you're paying per ton, or tons that you're paying on a fee. So we recognized in the early fall that at the $47.50, we weren't going to be able to cover all the costs because the emissions projected are going to be less than what we had expected. Reason for that is largely due to the number of air quality rules that had come forward over the last 2 years, and particularly this year, or 2024, which increased or decreased the amount of emissions. When you take for example, a power plant and you convert one of those units to natural gas, or you shut that unit down, those are significant contributors to the Title V fee. And so we recalculated that and determined what we would need to have for this coming year, and we determined that it was around $72 a ton. We're still lower than most states, but we're seeing this particular issue not only here in Wyoming, but in states nationally because of all the federal programs that were developed over the last couple of years. To give you an example, there were 89 major air quality rules in 2024 that the previous administration had put forward. As those are implemented, that reduces the amount of emissions, which then reduces the amount of money that we have to actually implement the program. Now, where we are in the process is we're accepting the inventories, the emissions inventories from the regulated community. And once we have all of that, in March, we send out the invoices to the permitted, Title V permitted facilities. Now, we didn't want to wait until the invoices came and just send out an invoice with the increase. We notified all the major emitters of this change. And we did that through either a phone call directly to those entities and/or through a letter that we had sent out to the regulated community to let them know of the change. I will tell you that the top 10 emitters in the program pay about 50% of the fees. So most of that is coming from the public utilities, because they are the largest emitters. But then you also have the trona mines are a big component of that as well. So that's a quick summary of what the issue is.
Thank you. I failed to tell the committee that I did share some information from constituency with you. You should have had that on your desk. So looks like this right here. So if you're interested in that piece of information, are there any questions for the director before I go on with mine? Okay, I'll continue. Go ahead, Representative Angelos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just quick, do you foresee some of these going away with the new administration and all of the executive orders that have come through?
So, Mr. Chairman, Representative Angelos, I see that there will be some changes and there will be stemming the flow of new rules that would require the types of emission controls that we were seeing from the previous administration. However, I don't see that changing very quickly. I mean, it's going to take a little time to modify those, if you will. I see that it should level out, let's put it that way. But we're still quite a bit of reduced emissions over the previous year that we're going to have to deal with from a cost perspective.
Further questions? Okay. Thank you. Just a couple of things. So it's my understanding that this is in your purview exactly where you're going to fund it based on the math of what it costs you to operate this particular program. How many employees do you have in the program?
Mr. Chairman, the administrator of the Air Quality Division is behind me. I don't recall exactly in that particular program.
Ask him that. Ask her.
80 total employees in the Air Quality Division, and a portion of all of that work goes towards Title V work.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I don't know that we have an exact FTE count for that Title V program, but we have 80 employees in the Air Quality Division, and each of them have a portion of their time that is assigned to Title V, if that makes sense. But I can't tell you offhand exactly.
Mr. Director, it makes sense if you're tracking that time and I'm assuming you have some way of calculating what the cost is. Obviously, this comes as a concern because this constituency feels caught off guard. And this is, in my opinion, a tax. Anytime we put a fee on, if you put a fee on a power generator, then that eventually ends up in the ratepayer's bill. And so we all pay these taxes. And so being able to predict and operate depending on what we're expecting, and I do appreciate your department's holding the cost down for a 10-year period, but I can see where we were below the EPA recommended amount for that 10-year period, and now we're going well above that. Well, I shouldn't say well, but we have a 109% increase with this fee in this year, after we just added the $500 a year plus the $75 per hour of your effort to process their applications. So can you explain this extreme increase now that we've gone so long below and now we're well above?
Yeah. So one thing I will mention is that we are still lower than most states in the region. But the reason, again, is because, one, we can't use other funds to fund the program. We have to use the fee. That's per federal statute. And in changing that from a shall to a may would be helpful, but that's a long-term discussion with the new administration. But the fee being assessed by the tons that are emitted, as those have gone down, and we've seen facilities, and probably the same facilities that have had conversations with you about this, as they convert from coal to gas, they're emitting fewer of the pollutants that we assess the fee for. And therefore, the cost is going to go up. And the issue is that drop in emissions was faster than what we had anticipated.
So one last question. Would the industry be better off if we let the feds regulate it versus us regulate it? Since it's getting so small that the cost per ton is going up.
Mr. Chairman, I would say no, because the permitting backlog that you would experience with EPA, they're not structured to be able to handle, they don't have the bandwidth to, at the region, to be able to implement the program. So I would say no, and they're going to adjust their rates as well. They're going to have to cover their costs.
Thank you. Any further questions for the director? I would just make one comment, Director Parfit. I would just say that communication is going to help you with these emitters. If you can just stay ahead of it and give them all the information about why you're changing, especially when it's a 109% increase.
Mr. Chairman, that's a fair comment, and we've had those conversations internally.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, any further discussion on the motion? Any motions, actually, on this department? Can I get a governor's rec? Thank you. Can I get a second? I feel like an auctioneer. All right, the motion is to go with the governor's recommendation on Department DEQ. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no? No. All right, that carries, and let's close out this department. Ms. Chasson, would you please take the roll call on DEQ?
Agency 020, Unit 0701, and for agency to close, roll call vote. Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Garou.
Aye.
Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith.
No.
Representative Allemand.
Aye.
Representative Angelos.
Aye.
Representative Harrelson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraph.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood.
Aye.
Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar. Chairman Bear.
No.
Chairman Bear, Agency 020 has 10 ayes and 2 noes.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson. Mr. Richards, I know that we're going into K-12 construction. We have an alternate bill in the House. Would you please walk us through what we need to do to take action on this item?
Mr. Chairman, you're exactly correct. The next agency for your consideration is Agency 27. The House Appropriations Committee has sponsored legislation to address all but one of the units. Unit 1501, which appears on page 31, major maintenance, traditionally falls in the supplemental budget bill table, not part of the school capital construction, which is for component projects and new construction. Again, page 31, this is an increase of $2.9 million for K-12 major maintenance.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, we should be able to take a motion here to remove all those other lines except for major maintenance, and with one motion, remove them so that we can handle those with the new K through 12 CapCon bill. Is that a correct assumption?
Mr. Chairman, that would be fine, yes.
Thank you. Do I have any motions? Representative Pendergraph.
So moved as just previously described.
Okay, I think I've got a motion from Representative Pendergraph and a second from Senator Driscoll. Is that all right, Senator Driscoll? All right. You've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? All right. All those in favor of the motion, aye? Aye. All those opposed, no? Motion carries. And let's move on to major maintenance, please.
Mr. Chairman, once again, it's on page 31, Unit 1501, major maintenance. This is $2.9 million rounded from the School Foundation Program account for FY26 major maintenance.
All right, any questions, any comments on this section? Any motions? Oh, Senator Driscoll.
I have a question. In that, and this may be outside of your realm, Mr. Richards, Mr. Chairman, are they allowed 10% of that major maintenance money to be discretionary?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that is correct, and I can ask our school finance staff. I believe the language for that is 10% can be used for enhancements. So school districts may want, if they're completing a middle school, they may want a fine arts center or a larger gymnasium or different exterior, and they're allowed to use a portion of this. I believe not only are they allowed to do that, but it can carry over year after year after year.
Mr. Chairman,
Follow up?
I'd like to make a motion to restrict that it's not available for that the major maintenance money just goes to major maintenance, not to enhancements.
Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, apply only to the period of the budget this year?
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Larson. Any discussion on the motion to add language restricting the amount that is flexible in this appropriation? No discussion. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no? No. Okay, motion carries, and we're ready to go ahead and close out this agency. So, Ms. Chasson, would you please take the roll?
Agency 027.
Hang on just a moment. Mr. Richards.
Mr. Chairman, I think you need to vote on the Govs Rec as amended.
Okay, well, backing up a little bit, can I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move GovRec.
Govs Rec with
As amended.
Second? Second by Representative Haroldson. Please take the roll on this section. Ms. Chasson.
Agency 027, Unit 1501, a roll call vote to close the agency as amended.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just make this a vote for closing the agency as amended. Go ahead, Ms. Chasson.
Senator Driscoll. Aye. Senator Garou.
Aye.
Senator Larson. Aye. Senator Smith.
No.
Representative Allemand. Aye. Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
No.
Co-Chairman Salzar. Aye. And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 10 ayes and 2 noes.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson. Mr. Richards, please, on to the next agency.
The next agency for your consideration is Agency 37, the State Engineer. The first unit for your consideration appears on page 15, Unit 0401, the Board of Control. Per the direction of the committee, this request does include 3 full-time employees.
Okay. Senator Larson. Okay, the motion is zero funding, no positions. A second? I'm sorry, over here. Senator Driscoll seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Senator Garou.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to make sure I understand the motion. So what we're doing is we're zeroing out those 3 employees and the dollar allocation therein. We're not zeroing out the whole smack. Yeah, okay, thank you. Just
Any
a
further
check.
discussion? Representative Sherwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the committee's information, we heard testimony in December that in 2010, there were 176 employees in this agency, and today there's 117. So I just want us to be aware that they are doing more with less, and that when we talk about our water and our water rights and how important that is to our constituents, I want us to be cautious about putting more work onto this agency. Thank you.
I'm going to add a note of comment as well. This has to do with Colorado River. We have several federal requirements coming down the road, and we're going to have to, there's a lot of federal money going to testing equipment. This is 3 positions to operate that equipment. and meet those standards so that I think as we get into litigation on protecting our water in the Colorado River, it's going to be important that we do our due diligence. I think that's what part of this 3-position request is about. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Senator Larson.
I guess I'd push back a little bit, just comparing it to the other divisions. In Division 1, which is in the Cheyenne areas, there's 22 hydrologists kind of working in that area, hydrographers. Division 2 up in Sheridan, there's 8. In Division 3 up in the Northwest, there's 9, and then in that area, there's 14. So I think they have plenty of hydrographers there. I'm not sure if what, they don't usually go out and set up this equipment. They do help a little bit, but, they've got gauge stations on their streams and stuff already. I think they're fine.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. All those in favor of the motion to remove the dollar funding and these 3 positions, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no?
No.
Motion carries. Let's go ahead and take a roll call vote on this section. Ms. Chesson.
Mr. Chairman, agency,
One moment, Ms. Chesson. Go ahead, Senator Larson.
I'd go to the next section of 148,000 for the North Platte.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a roll call vote on the positions.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
That's all right. It's a legitimate question. Been kind of rolling fast, so go ahead and take the roll on section 0401, Ms. Chastain.
agency 037, unit 0401. Senator Driscoll.
Aye.
Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Alamand.
No.
Representative Angelos.
No.
Representative Haroldson.
No.
Representative Pendergraft.
No.
Representative Sherwood.
No.
Representative Smith.
No.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
Aye.
And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, it's 6-6.
Okay. So with your votes, that section has been denied. Is that correct, Mr. Richards? Okay. So the motion has the same effect as the denial. So those positions have been removed and defunded with that action. All right, going on to section 1401, as Senator Larson suggested.
Mr. Chairman, I would zero that funding out also. I'm not sure if this is also needed. It'll be a contractual work that is being done to work some more on, I think, on river, is that what they call it? So I would say zero funding on this.
I'll second your motion.
Okay, so Mr. Richards, we'd just like a little bit of clarification on the last action back on 0401.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Larson moved to reduce the funding and the 3 FTE to 0. That amendment passed. The motion for the governor's rec as amended failed. It has the same impact as Senator Larson's amendment, so the final resting spot for this unit is no funding and no FTE.
So, thank you. Okay, back to this, your motion, Senator Larson. Would you repeat it, please?
Mr. Chairman, on the next unit, zero funding.
Zero funding. So reducing the 148,000 to 0. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Smith. Any discussion on the motion? Just a point of clarification. I think, Mr. Richards, this is for software for modeling of the North Platte as it crosses the state border into our neighbors. And according to the governor's rec, this is important for ensuring that we can maintain our water rights. At least that's the description we've received, okay? So everybody's aware of what this is for. Any further discussion? Representative Pendergraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question, I guess, on timing between now and the general, the budget session coming up. Does this constitute an emergency if this software has to be here, and what's the timeline?
Any comments? Any questions? Any response from the audience here? Okay. My understanding is that this software has been denied by our predecessors, and so it's been some time, but that's up to this body to decide. Any further discussion on this motion? All right, we'll go ahead and take the vote. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no? No. Let's show of hands. All those in favor say, or raise your right hand. And all those opposed? That motion fails. Okay. So we're back at Governor's Rec. Any motions?
I'd move the governor's rec.
Governor's Rec's been moved. Any second? Seconded by Representative Scott. Smith. Boy, I'm gonna work on that one today. We've got too many Smiths here anyway, trying to change it. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no? No. Motion carries. And on this section, Ms. Chasson, would you please take the roll call?
Agency 037, Unit 1401. Senator Driscoll.
No.
Senator Garou. No. Senator Larson.
No.
Senator Smith.
No.
Representative Allemand.
Aye.
Representative Angelos. Aye. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar.
No.
Chairman Bear.
No.
Chairman Bear, there are 6 ayes and 6 noes.
Okay. So with your vote, that particular line item was defeated, so there will not be funding for that software program. All right. Mr. Richards, would you please move, oh, are we completed with that agency? So, Ms. Chaston, would you please take the roll call on the agency?
Mr. Chairman, Agency 037 to close. Senator Driscoll.
Aye.
Senator Garou.
Aye.
Senator Larson.
Aye.
Senator Smith.
Aye.
Representative Allemand.
No.
Representative Angelos. No. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Aye. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar. Aye. Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 10 ayes and 2 noes.
Thank you, Ms. Chasson. Mr. Richards, please continue.
Mr. Chairman, the next agency for your consideration is Agency 39. It's the Wildlife Natural Resource Trust. The first unit for your consideration appears on page 13, Unit 1001, Administration. This is a $130 million request, and please note the difference of funding source. 101.3 million is from the general fund, and 28.7 million is from the Permanent Wyoming Mineral Trust Fund Reserve account.
Thank you, Mr. Richards. Any discussion on this unit? Representative Pendergraft, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would move to add a note that would exclude any funding for private fencing.
Okay, the motion is to add a footnote excluding funding for fencing. A second for the motion. Any second? So go ahead.
Just to clarify, for private fencing.
For private fencing. None of the funds would be able to be used for private fencing. Do I have a second? That fails for lack of second. Do I have any other motions?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an extensive motion. Basically, it would make this a loan program at 2%. The dollar amount would be 60 million available, and it would be ran through the Wyoming Business Council. There is a handout here on footnote. I would change some of the footnote. If I could go through that, Mr. Chairman?
Please proceed.
I don't want to read the whole thing. In the footnote, it would be 60 million from the LSRA for the sole purpose of providing loans for mitigation restoration projects needed as a result of the fire and natural disasters. A process for qualified entities to apply for the loans will be for the following purposes. I left all those, except as you get down to the last three sentences, I took out repair or replace watershed habitat facilities for private municipal.
Senator Larson, we're not tracking with you on the sheet of paper that we just received, so maybe we're on the wrong sheet.
It'd be down on the first page, section B, the last couple sentences. We would take out repair or replace watershed habitat and facilities for private municipal, community, or county water supplies. And we'd leave the remaining, we'd get rid of section C, the whole page to the bottom of the page, and we'd turn over to the second page. There won't be a steering committee. It'll be the Wyoming Business Council shall establish eligibility standards using what was on that page. I would insert between D and E, funds are to be used for loans and not grants, and the loan rate will be 2%.
That's a fairly extensive conceptual amendment, or are you tracking with that, Mr. Richards?
Mr. Chairman, we are.
Okay. Senator Driscoll?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Larson, just a quick question, and you'd run this by me and I didn't catch it fully till now. Would you be amicable to leaving the administration of the deal to the Wildlife Trust instead of the Business Council? I actually have greater faith in that agency doing a good job of getting money out the door efficiently than I do the Business Council, sadly.
So there's a friendly amendment. The request is that a friendly amendment? Senator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to try to explain my position. I'm not sure if I want to say it's friendly yet.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. We don't have a
What's your point?
second on this yet, do we?
I'm sorry?
We don't have a
I'll
second on
second
this
it
yet?
before I ask the question. Thank you.
I just figured we probably need a second
Yeah.
before we went into this, did.
All right, so the motion is on the table to change this from a grant, basically, to a loan program for those both subdivisions and individuals who may request funding for recovery from fire. The amount is changed from 101 million from the general fund, and I'm assuming we're just addressing the 101 million?
Mr. Chairman, I was doing the whole 130.
Okay, so this would include the following line item for the 28 million in addition. So the full 130 is changing to how much?
60.
60 million, so those two line items that you see, the 101 million and the 28, almost 29 million, grand total of 130 million would be reduced to 60 million, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, do I have a second? Second by Senator Grew. Any discussion on the motion? Representative Haroldson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On that breakdown of that 60 million, would we still be removing from permanent mineral, or the Wildlife Trust Fund, or would that all be general funds?
Mr. Chairman, I specified the legislative stabilization and reserve account, just like the governor did in his revised footnote language.
All right, I'm just going to need a little clarification for everyone in the audience. Mr. Richards, originally this request was 101 million out of general fund and 28 million out of the permanent mineral trust fund reserve account. We've had mention of a wildlife trust fund and the LISRA. So how do those two accounts play into this motion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't believe there is sufficient funds in the Wildlife Natural Resource Trust Fund income account, and the trust fund itself is a statutorily inviolate corpus, but that does not mean you couldn't appropriate from there. Senator Larson does note, this language is not from us. This came from the governor's office, and you're exactly right. The governor's office submission has modified their source of funding from general funds and PMTF-RA to LSRA in this, and I believe Senator Larson is maintaining the source to be the LSRA.
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Thank
Can
you, Senator Larson. And
Mr. Chairman, can I go back to an amendment to the amendment from Senator Driscoll?
yes, Senator Driscoll.
No, he's going to respond to me, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead,
I
Senator
think
Larson.
Senator Driscoll was asking why we didn't go through the Wyoming Wildlife Trust Fund as the committee to kind of designate where the loans are going. Is that correct? I was going to Wyoming Business Council because 20 years ago, there was some disasters with alfalfa seed and farmers having issues of getting paid, and they did some loans through that program, and then maybe 5-6 years ago, there was sugar beet companies that had troubles getting the harvest out due to freeze, and they also, I think, went through this type of process with the Wyoming Business Council. So I think they're set up and ready to work with farmers and landowners and such.
Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, just a little back and forth. 20 years ago, and we didn't have the Wildlife Trust Fund then. My thoughts are they've done an amazing job of administrating program STAG with almost no administration. I'm really big on what the Wildlife Trust Fund's done and how they do it. And business council's more geared towards bringing business in and doing it, in my opinion. I think it's much closer to the ag community with Wildlife Trust Fund and their board than it is with the business council. I kind of implore you to look at it on looking at it that way.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Larson.
they have the manpower, I take it then, to to take care of the loans?
Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think I'm in a position to answer that. I think we can probably get it. I'm game for it to go forward either way. We can obviously reopen the section at the end with more information if we need to. But I'm going to defer to Senator Larson's good judgment, and if we've got different information, we'll visit off channel with him and you. I believe, can we ask for the ability to reopen this in a day or so? If we need
Senator
to?
Driscoll, you can ask for that, but I think if we close the section, it will be closed, and it would probably be preferred that you bring an amendment to the floor if you're going to change it at that point, if you get some additional information.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Hibbard?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Wildlife National Resource Trust Fund said they could do this grant process for $130 million without any administrative costs. I don't know that there's any difference between that and administering a loan program, so I think we're prepared to administer that. And the enterprise is going to lean in. So just want to let that comment.
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Hibbard. Any other discussion on the friendly emotion? Well, I don't think we've determined that it's friendly.
No, I don't think so. I'm going to wait and we'll do it on the floor if we need to amend.
So there's still a motion for an amendment to the amendment on the table. It is not friendly. Would you like to withdraw your motion? Okay. Senator's withdrawn his motion. So we're back into the Wyoming Business Council for changing this over to a loan program with $60 million coming from the LSRA. Any further discussion on the motion? I believe it was seconded by Senator Guru. All those in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no? No. All right, I'll see a raise of hands for all those in favor of the motion. Raise your right hand. Okay, all those opposed? All right, that motion fails on a 6-6 vote. So, any further motions on this section?
Mr. Chairman?
Senator Driscoll.
My way now. Let's go back and look at Natural Resource Trust. Folks, I think, as is This is gonna be a savings, turning it to a loan program and cutting it back. This is significant as far as what we do, so I'd make the exact motion that he did, except leave the administration and Wildlife Trust make a stab at it.
All right, you've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Senator Larson. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, we've asked for a timeout. So we'll take 5 minutes. We'll be back here in 5 minutes. and the 20, well, it's 130 million for these two items. Do you have any other motions?
I think I had a motion.
That's right, we did, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to withdraw that motion absent of protest.
Okay, is there any protest?
Explanation for everybody. I talked to the Director of Wildlife Trust. They have no ability to handle anything that deals with loans. So if we're moving that direction with loans, they do not feel like they can handle that. So
Okay.
I told you I'd get back. I called while we took break. Thank you for doing it. They cannot handle that.
All right, motion has been withdrawn. Any further motions?
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair.
All right, Representative Angelos.
I would like to use the Senator Larson's footnote, but instead of 60 million, I'd like to do 100 million at 2% and run it through the Business Council.
Okay, so the motion is to change Senator Larson's previously defeated motion to be $100 million in funds to be loaned at 2% interest and run through the Wyoming Business Council, seconded by Senator Larson. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion, say aye. All those opposed, no. Okay, let's see a hand. All those in favor of the motion, say aye, or raise your hand. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. All right, let's get a roll call vote on those two items, those two units. Ms. Chasten, please call the roll.
Agency 039, to move to as amended. Senator Driscoll.
Mr. Richards, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the vote on the roll call is on Unit 1001. You have not yet addressed 1004.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, 1004 is
apologies.
excluded from this vote. That is correct. Go ahead, Ms. Chasten, and take the roll on 1001.
Agency 039, Unit 1001. Senator Driscoll. Senator Guru. Senator Larson. Senator Smith. Representative Allemand. Representative Angelos. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft.
Aye.
Representative Sherwood. Representative Smith.
No.
Co-Chairman Salzar. And Chairman Bear.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Chasten. Mr. Richards, would you move us on to Unit 1004?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the next unit for your consideration appears on page 16, Unit 1004, invasive species. This is an $11 million request from the general fund.
Okay, any discussion on this unit? Any motions?
Mr. Chairman?
Senator Guru, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Don, help me out here. This is, we had a $20+ million ask last year that we cut, and so this is just the reinstatement of the second half of what we cut last year, is that?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct. The 2024 budget session approved $9 million of the $20 million request from the general fund for similar purposes, invasive species. This is unrelated to the wildfires per se,
Right.
because they were requested prior to that.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman?
Follow up, go ahead.
Mr. Hibbard, how much of that account got utilized?
Mr. Hibbard?
Mr. Chairman, I'd have to validate that, but I think it's all been obligated, but I'll see to it that I talked to them about it.
Follow up, Senator Guru?
No, I wouldn't make a motion for Gov's Rec.
Motion is Gov's Rec. Do I have a second? Seconded by Representative Haroldson. Any further discussion on the motion? No discussion. Let's take the roll. Ms. Chasten.
Agency 039, Unit 1004. Senator Driscoll. Senator Guru.
Aye.
Senator Larson. Senator Smith. No. Representative Allemand. Representative Angelos. Representative Haroldson.
Aye.
Representative Pendergraft. Representative Sherwood. Representative Smith.
Aye.
Co-Chairman Salzar. And Chairman Bear.
Aye.
Chairman Bear, 11 ayes, 1 no.
11 ayes, 1 no. That is closed. And we have a very extensive department coming up, Department of Health, so we're going to extend that in our noon meeting. So we will cover the Department of Health in our noon meeting. I appreciate the committee's hard work getting this to where we're at here. And please come prepared to discuss the Department of Health. Mr. Hibbard, do you have a comment before we close?
Mr. Chairman, I have been in contact with the Director of Wildlife and Natural Resource Trust, and that $9 million that was provided last year is fully obligated.
Fully obligated. Senator Grew, you just got your answer on those? Yes, Senator Grew. All right, thank you all. We are adjourned until noon, recess.